There's death, there's destruction.
Global news impacts us.
We have to change the way we live. This is why we need independent media.
Cheers and salutations to everyone joining us here at Hard Lens Media. We have been covering the story with Eliza Bleu and the situation of the censorship that's happening on Twitter. Now, I do want to give the intro and further explanation to Farron, who has been doing a phenomenal job in covering this story. We are also joined by, again, returning guests, Manuel DeFango, who is joining us again. Manuel, so good to see you again, my friend.
Hi, how's it going? How's it going?
Yes, I think you've been better. Twitter has now officially permanently suspended you as well. So, Farron, I want to give the floor to you because you have been doing such a phenomenal job. Can you give us a rundown in regards to what's been happening this past week with Eliza Bleu, her story? And again, folks, this is very heavy to talk about. Farron, take it away.
So basically, if you haven't been following, Eliza Bleu, she is a survivor advocate that has been really making a name for herself via Twitter and got into the ear of Elon Musk and helped him with a couple of cases like John Doe 1 and John Doe 2, where they were 13-year-old boys that were being exploited on Twitter, who were getting their images passed around on the website and actually appealed to Twitter to take it down, and they never did. So there is a pending lawsuit going on right now, but she was very vocal about that. However, it was actually, I found out today actually from DeFango that it was actually originally started by somebody else. She just happened to piggyback on that movement, but I digress. Basically, there are things coming out now that, there was this music video that dropped about a week and a half ago of her in a scantily clad outfit, doing scantily clad things. And people started questioning her timeline because she says that she is a human trafficking survivor, but also an advocate. Her timelines just started to not add up, and people started asking questions. Enter Manuel DeFango, who put out a actual rundown of this is where I think the holes are in this story. And when I say, folks, the holes in this story look like a piece of Swiss cheese, that's not even like doing it justice. I mean, it's just a barrage of bullets in the wall, basically. And so Brittany Venti, who we were going to get on today, but like I said, she's stuck in traffic with the snowstorm coming to Texas.
Hope she's okay. Again, all the best to her.
I told her to drive slow because she just got her driving permit too, believe it or not. So I'm like, drive slow,
please.
But no, so she just posed a question to her and said, hey, can you explain this? All of a sudden, she gets locked out of her account. A massive social media YouTuber, the Quartering, retweets it. Goes by the name of Jeremy. Jeremy then gets locked out. And a lot of other people start getting censored, start getting banned. Tweets start getting, censored as far as like pictures. People are getting suspended if there's any memes of her. Then all of a sudden, the music video is taken down off of YouTube and off of the World Star Hip Hop website where this music video was produced by. Then you have Eliza Bleu coming out and saying, how she's thanking World Star for taking the video down. She thanks Google
this
and
is the
YouTube.
tweet in question here.
Thanking Google and YouTube for removing the video on Wednesday. And I'd like to thank Twitter and Twitter safety. Well, then you see that there is a tie to this story, and it goes by the name of Ella Irwin. And Ella Irwin is the vice president of Twitter. She hails from Amazon and was the vice president there. There are reports that she was not the nicest person, that employees actually had designated cry rooms after coming out of her office. And that basically the article goes on from the Daily Beast where it says that her and Elon have a dysfunctional communication style. To me, I would have to say that sounds like more of a it's easier to say sorry than ask for permission type of a deal. Like, I'm just going to kind of do what I want. Well, earlier this week, you had a BBC documentary come out where it talked about how India helped ban this documentary because it was like, talking about President Modi and stuff. And Elon Musk is asked about it, like live. And he's like, this is the first that I'm hearing about it. So you see now that Elon really isn't running the show. It's kind of like he's running it in name only. And it's Ella Irwin who is actually the one that's kind of going around. And now, literally in minutes after Eliza tweeted that tweet about, I want to thank, the censorship or I want to thank YouTube and World Star, Ella Irwin comes out and tweets a bunch of safety rules that are going on and the new safety stuff that's happening. And it looks like from what we were dealing with before in the Jack Dorsey Vijaya Gotti stages, but like amped up just a little bit more, which then enters in DeFango and his tweet about Ella Irwin. So take it away.
Yeah, this morning I actually made a tweet at Ella Irwin basically saying, hey, the censorship under Ella Irwin seems to be going to new heights, like they're misrepresenting the facts, they're misrepresenting everything about this situation. And then like within 15 minutes, I got basically deleted permanently on Twitter. So they didn't send me any warnings. I didn't have a lockout where I had to delete tweets or anything like that. It was just an instantaneous ban. And I didn't even get an email from them about why they banned me or anything like that. It's just, you're gone. Goodbye.
Now, the thing is, DeFango, look, I think a lot of people are still hurt and in a state of shock in regards to all this information that is coming out about Eliza Bleu. The timeline is not adding up. And I think it's only fair that people do call her out, because when you see all the videos, and again, Eliza, you can try and scrub the internet as much as you can. The internet will not forget. There's always going to be somebody or something that's going to remember. Nothing adds up. The timeline doesn't add up. The times where she said she was trafficked doesn't add up. And look, to be clear here, folks, maybe something happened to Eliza. I don't know. But when she describes how she was trafficked, she talks about how her image, her face, photos, your photos and image are way different than a person who is being forced against their will to do horrific acts that they don't want to be a part of. So in other words, Eliza, what really happened to you and why all the changes? So DeFango, when this happened to your Twitter account, I mean, in many ways, you feel vindicated that, you've been censored, but at the same time too, I mean, are you concerned that this is what the overall treatment's going to be for on Twitter? I mean, I want to get your thoughts.
Well, that's basically kind of like, it's basically confirming my worst fears about the situation, because we've already looked into the fact that this Ella Irwin character and Eliza Bleu are actually buddy. They've met each other in person. They're, I guess, apparently friends and already working on other things on Twitter. So it's not a stretch to say that, hey, me just mentioning that lady in a tweet one time is enough for her to finally decide that, all right, this has gone too far. We're just going to go ahead and get rid of you. And then it does show that the future for Twitter is not going to be this sunshine and rainbows free speech land that Elon Musk is talking about, because the people that work for him obviously don't have the same viewpoint as he does. And then, I'd hate to think that this is actually something that he's like, no, we're going to go ahead and side with Eliza on this one. And, you just do whatever's necessary. Like, how crazy could that really be at the end of the day? And I mean, it shows us that there's not a lot of control that we have as users over the platform, like we already knew, but we almost even have less control. This is like something that Vijaya Gotti probably wanted to be able to do in her time at Twitter, but just didn't have the ability. And Ella Irwin just kind of like threw it on the table and decided that, guess what? I can do it, and I'm gonna do it, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. So that's pretty scary, right? Like they used to argue about, in the Twitter files, we saw that they were arguing about decisions like this, and they weren't taking it lightly over presidents. But this is Eliza Bleu, and it's like, okay, we're gonna do it. We're not gonna care about it at all. We're a private company now, so y'all can't do anything to us, right?
Well, the other part that's interesting too is the other piece to the puzzle now is that Eliza Bleu put out that tweet, that I have been sexually exploited in multiple ways. Then you had it where, again, this is just a group of folks, a community where everybody's working together. And here you have World Star emailed back one of the folks that asked for a comment saying that they hired and paid Eliza. So when you're hearing about, you know, how she's kind of almost insinuating that she was trafficked by World Star and using that as a guise to get this stuff taken down, that's fraud. That's against Twitter's terms of service. And we know this now because there's audio of her saying how she contacted the producers of World Star, how she was so excited about this. And then after it was all done, calling her mother and saying, and her mother saying, oh my God, her dream would be for her to end up in a Snoop music video. So there's just all these weird different timelines. Then you have it where, you know, there's allegations of, or she has, you know, put out there that she, you know, started a halfway house for people, but then you never heard about it ever again. A lot of people asking, what exactly is it that does she do? And you don't hear anything. So there's just so many questions. And one of the things is I talked to an actual woman who runs a nonprofit called Lynn's Warriors. And I'll share the link in the chat. But you know, she's been watching this for a while where it's not just people like Eliza. Eliza right now kind of has the most clout because she's big with Twitter. She's big with Elon. But there's a number
and YouTube and Google too.
Right. But there's a number of women out there that are kind of jumping on this survivor advocate celebrityism, where they're going around and speaking and taking money for speaking and taking money when they get awards and whatnot. And most of these nonprofits, A, don't have time to do that. And B, if they're going, they're not getting paid to go speak. They're going to speak to bring out the message and then have all the donations filter to the nonprofit. So you're starting to see again, like, and one of the things that Lynn had told me was that, you know, many survivors, they a lot of times will get their timelines messed up. And a lot of times they also don't realize that they've been trafficked. That's the biggest thing. And she's like, you know, a lot of times these girls don't know that it actually happened to them. Well, a lot of these girls who allegedly might have not been are using that line to their advantage. And I didn't realize that that's what it was. I didn't realize that's what it was. And that's where you see Eliza, where she talks about how people post her image on Twitter and then it went back to DMs for, you know, them to, I guess, get money. And it's like, well, that's not trafficking. That's catfishing, you know, and
two different things altogether.
Yeah. And,
but then
the
was she still participating in some way? Was she, were they like selling her online as a profile of her, but then going to her directly and being like, oh, I got you another one. And then here you go. Like,
because
nobody asked that.
Because it's been found out now in one of her videos, because the girl lived online, which is to this woman's detriment, mind you.
Yeah.
Lived online and said, you know, oh, you can contact me through Chatstar. And Brittany Venti's live on air looking it up, and she's like, oh my God, Chatstar is a sex webcam service, you know? And people are kind of like, what's going on? The problem is that Eliza is not addressing any of this. And now, as we just learned, Red State had their article pulled down. And the reporter, where is my Twitter? I just retweeted it. Because it was our good friend and colleague, That Umbrella Guy. The author of Red State article exposing Eliza Bleu sounded off online, confirming it had been unpublished. She does not go into this further, but the situation is beyond messed up. And she just says, it was unpublished. I can't speak to it further. So, yeah, we're seeing now it's starting to bleed out a little bit more, which is disgusting.
Well, okay, so look, I want everyone to, you know what I have to say though, in regards to what happened to Fango, and that is his account should not be permanently suspended. You did nothing malicious. You just brought up a timeline and showed people like, hey, wait a minute, something's not adding up. Perhaps maybe Eliza just is having a memory lapse. Fine, whatever. Let's be generous here. Brittany then calls it out and says, wait a minute, something's not right. It causes her to get suspended. It causes so many people to get locked out of their accounts. And we're seeing World Star Hip Hop say that, look, we paid her. World Star Hip Hop is indicating that they paid Eliza for that music video. For the people in the background, that means she signed a contract. So, Farron, you've been doing a lot of deep dives, and we've helped you out with this too. When she was saying she was here in Chicago, I don't want to talk too much about it, but in regards to the areas where she lived in Chicago, supposedly, allegedly, they're by the Gold Coast and not on the West Coast. Sorry, apologies for that. On the west side of Chicago, where she said she lived. Am I wrong on that, Farron? She was saying she lived on the west side of Chicago.
She never really said like west side or south side. I'm pretty sure she was referring to the south side though, but she said she lived in the ghetto.
Okay.
And that she had to have her mattress on the floor because of all of the gunshots that would come across her way.
All right. Now look, Farron, you probably will know about this. And to anyone that lives in Chicago or has lived in Chicago or still is living in Chicago, you'll know this. So DeFango, you're about to get an education here. There's an area in the city of Chicago called the Gold Coast, which is right by Lake Michigan. And there's a lot of fancy high-rise apartment buildings and condos there. It's the two buildings in question are very close to the John Hancock building, Water Tower Place, but all other ritzy, cat fancy, rich, again, gonna say it again, rich clothing shops, restaurants, coffee shops, etc. I mean, you see Gucci there. You see it all there. They're all Chanel. You see it all. It's all there. By the way, Chanel was a Third Reich supporter. So there you go. Anyone talk about Coco Chanel as a feminist? Get that out of there. Thank you, Bill Burr, for that one. So anyways, off topic. So these two buildings, again, and where she was living, supposedly, allegedly, does not fit the description of a goddamn ghetto or anything on the west side of Chicago or on the south side of Chicago. My fellow Chicagoans, back me up on this one. The Gold Coast is where the rich people play. The Gold Coast is where all the people go ahead and shop. The Gold Coast area and all those areas are as safe as they can get. And I actually walked inside one of those buildings, not fully all the way inside, but talked to the security guard and say, hey, what's it like over here? Is it relatively safe? He said, oh, yeah, it's perfectly safe here. Perfectly safe here. It was madness of the highest order. I never, you know, as soon as I was parking the car, because I called up Farron, I left a message on her voicemail and sent her a text like, Farron, this place is just, it's rich. It's rich. It's rich. It's so rich. And by the way, folks, Google map it. Look up Gold Coast in Chicago. It's as rich as it can get. It's the nice part of town, the ritzy part of town.
Well, not to mention though, okay, let's even take it one step further. The two buildings that she allegedly lived in are high rises. So mattress on the floor because of the gunshots. What? When you're 10 floors above?
Is anti-aircraft weaponry being fired? I mean, look, and here's wait. There's one thing that really pissed me off though, and I think she posted this on World Star Hip Hop because you sent me a lot of links too, where she's talking about Chirac. I hate that goddamn name. I hate it. Look, I know Chicago's got problems. But by you using that, you're indicating that's nothing but a total war zone here in this city. And I know there's violence. I know there's gun violence. I know it. But when you use that term, to me, it's disrespecting all the good people that are trying to end violence here in the city of Chicago. By promoting Chirac, what do you say? It's a war zone? I get it. There's problems here. I'll be the first one to admit that. But Eliza, you're putting more gasoline and you're putting more gasoline onto the fire and dismissing all the good people that are trying to end Chicago's reputation of being a violent city. I hated that she was doing it. This is Chirac. This is Chirac. Why? What is Chirac about the Gold Coast? Anti-aircraft weaponry and high caliber sniper weapons are not being fired at those goddamn high rises. The police would swarm in. When I was driving there, I counted not one, but 10 police cars all over that area. That ain't happening. There's not going to be some big old shootout there.
Yeah. DeFango, what do you think?
I mean, I've never been to Chicago. I've been told that, you know, I should not go there by people that I've met in Arizona that were from Chicago. They're like, yeah, there's really no reason for you to go there.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, in the summer, but yeah, I mean, there is a lot of crime. I mean, that is no doubt.
Yeah, I know that.
But,
I know that.
You know, it's one of these things though, like where Yeah, calling it Chirac when you don't even like understand that it's Chirac. But this is what she does though, is she has a number of different names, and she like kind of is a chameleon, like where, you know, she went through like a punk rock phase, then she went through like a urban phase. Now she's going through this survivor phase, you know, like it's just, to me, I think there's just a lot more questions than answers. But then as stuff gets debunked, you know, like what they say in court, you know, there's a whole reason why, you know, the defense or the prosecution, or no, there's a reason why the prosecution tries to catch the defendant in a lie. And the whole reason is because if you find one lie, you're bound to find more and more and more and more and more. And when you see one lie like this, you know, like where she lived, you're just kind of like, okay. Then you're seeing, you know, oh, I was illicitly, you know, what is it? There was illicit pictures of me that, you know, I didn't consent to. And then you find out they paid her, you know? So it's like, yeah. And it's just one of these things where you're starting to see, it's like, okay, clearly the narrative is starting to unravel. And mind you, none of this had to happen had she just come out and said, that was a time when I like really valued my body, and, you know, I'm growing every day as a person, and, you know, yada, 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 but I would, you know, appreciate it if you took it down or whatever. And it probably would have been the end of it. Well, but yeah.
Farron, I want to pull up this tweet here, and it's a video that you caught. Actually, it's an audio recording, actually.
Oh, yeah, this one.
And this right here, you mentioned about a lie. So Katie Herzog, is that how you say her last name?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
So she was interviewing Eliza Bleu. When asked a question about sharing her story, things go terribly wrong. Now, I hope I don't get struck with YouTube. I'll probably have to stop playing at a certain point, but because they're playing I'm Blue.
Oh, you shouldn't, because I think it's under 10 seconds or whatever. But I mean, yeah, if you want to.
All right, let's go play it.
I mean, I don't know if for me to tell my story at length is going to take a while.
I don't even need that.
Questions about my story is going to take a while.
So I know the basics of your story because I've listened to your podcast.
Right. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what the question is.
Well, I can ask you the question.
I didn't agree to this. All I agreed to was answering a few questions about Twitter.
Well, okay, sure. That's totally fine. But can I ask you the questions or email you the questions, and you can decide if you want to answer or not?
I mean, did you ask Amanda in advance to do that?
No, I told her that I wanted to ask you about the Twitter stuff and about your own story.
Okay, so
and your own story. So yeah, she asked you if you could talk about your survivor advocate. You know, come on.
Well, also, you know, she says, you know, I know the basics of your story. So clearly meaning like, I want to go a little bit more in depth. And also when she says, did you ask Amanda that? Well, why does it really even matter? Because you're on the phone with her now.
Yeah.
She's asking you.
Yeah.
You know, it's like this weird, it's just weird.
Amanda is the handler. And I remember Amanda's actually following me on Twitter. And I actually introduced like, hey, I'm Kit with Hard Lens Media. This was before the Eliza Bleu thing fell out, but you know, it's kind of interesting about this handler. Do we even know if that's a real person, or is that Eliza, or is that another thing that Eliza uses so that way she's not overwhelmed with direct messaging? I mean, am I missing something, or am I wrong on something? What do you think, guys?
We're aware that it's actually a person that's like separate from her. And some people seem to think that it's a journalist that she's worked with that actually helped her originally come out for her story, which would have been Amanda Presto something from the Daily Wire, actually. So that's what a lot of people think who that's actually is. But, you know, there hasn't been a direct connection. But I'd say it's probably like 75%, because, I mean, who else would it be? Who else could it be that would be that protective of somebody that wasn't, you know, and it just happens that this other Amanda person was the person that initially got her to come forward in the first place. And, you know, to think about the lie thing is that there was a lie earlier that, you know, that Amanda person was also pretty vehemently fighting down, that came from another account like that started with a K on Twitter that was actually hitting Eliza about her dad. And during the time he was running for lieutenant governor, and Eliza straight up lied, like plain as
Wow.
day that, oh, this is not my dad. This isn't somebody that, you know, or that's completely wrong, and stop misgendering me. Then it's just, you know, like there's like, she literally like, my pronouns are they, them, or something like that. So it's just, you know, it was just really super over the top for even you. So it's like, you know, there's already been a couple of lies that have been brought forward, and now I'm sitting here, you know, suspended. They could have done this at any time, but they chose to do it today when I just mentioned Ella Irwin in a tweet, you know, saying something that's very direct and I think correct. And here we are now, you know, so I'm again censored, right? And I don't have a voice. Twitter says that they're about free speech and not censoring people, but, you know, again, we've been able to prove it without, you know, any problem.
Exactly.
It sucks. That's not what we wanted. Not what I wanted.
Let's hear the rest of this, because again, it gets crazier, folks.
Tell her everything you wanted to ask
No,
me, and then you got a survivor on the phone
no.
and started asking her about her personal trauma.
No, that's not what happened. I said,
Katie, I think we're probably going to be done here. Please, just next time you want to speak to a survivor about their trauma and bring up their own past.
I literally asked her. I'm going to read you. I'm going to read you. I'll read you the message that I sent her.
Please be honest in advance,
I won't.
Because there are times when I feel cool about talking about it, and there's other times when I don't.
I'll read you the message that I sent it to her.
What?
You're not listening to me.
I was totally comfortable talking about Twitter. If you were going to ask me about my own traumatizing story, I would have appreciated a little bit of a heads up. And you know what? I think you're a cool person. I always have. And I know you're cool with Tim Dillon, and I would have appreciated a little bit more respect just off.
You're not listening to me. Here's what I said to her. I said, I'm interested in the Twitter changes as well as her history as a survivor. That is what I told her.
Okay, then I'm going to speak to her about that, because then she messed up and didn't tell me what's up.
Okay, well,
so I apologize for blooping out on you. She should have told me that. I'm going to go get in her ass. So
can I ask you the questions?
I'm not cool with it. It's been a long few days, and honestly, I don't feel like rehashing my whole own trauma on the phone with somebody I don't know.
We always ask them the same question. What is your central strategy for defrauding people? They all say the same thing. Get them under the ether.
Under the ether?
Ether is a heightened emotional state where you're no longer thinking rationally, but you're reacting emotionally. And this explains why so many people actually fallen for this stuff. You say, how could somebody that smart fall for this? It's not their intellect that's engaged when they make that decision. It's the emotion.
That's the madness. That's the madness of Eliza Bleu dictating this. So I think in many ways, Manuel, how can we help you get back your Twitter account? Because to me, it's, again, you're asking just simple questions, and it's quite clear that Eliza does have the connection with Elon Musk. But more importantly, I think what would probably happen is the people in charge now of Twitter safety were told by Elon to listen to everything that Eliza says. And Eliza has, again, the direct connections to Google and YouTube, getting World Star Hip Hop to take things down. I mean, how can people help you right now? Because again, you know, you have a social media presence, you do have a name, you do do content. This has to be a huge detriment to what you do, man.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. Like, losing a Twitter account that's growing is always a big problem, because, you know, like, that's always been my main, like, best source of getting, you know, new subscribers and followers, because I've been, you know, like a Twitter first type person since like 2008. That's always been my favorite platform, you know, and it just sucks getting nuked. So I'd say, hey, you know, if people can tweet out the hashtags, you know, get it out to other individuals out there, that's basically going to do the greatest amount of service. And then obviously, if you want to like get updates from me, you guys can follow me on, you know, YouTube, Manuel Defango, or just search for Defango, and you'll definitely find probably me most 100% of the time, because you know, I'm everywhere.
So now for what a lot of people are also aware of too, and Farron, I want you to weigh in on this too. You have put together, and still are editing right now, so perhaps by Friday it will come out, the beginning stages of this documentary that you're doing in regards towards Eliza Bleu. And with your permission, could I play this first trailer that you worked on?
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, so viewing audience, first time on Hard Lens Media, you saw the joint video where, again, we're talking about where everyone's bringing it up. This is now the trailer to the first video that will be dropping on Friday. Let's play it for the people.
These ads online of people being sold for sexual services online, it was gut-wrenching.
Illinois reported just under 300 trafficking cases in 2018. Every single month, the average age, 12 to 14 years old.
In 2022, there were more than 148,000 online ads for sex.
Illinois ranks 9th in the country when it comes to reports of human trafficking.
These are women who are trapped in those businesses. Their passports and visas are being withheld.
A recent FBI report shows officials here in Atlanta found 84 minors and 141 adult trafficking victims in just one sting operation.
Experts say traffickers take advantage of vulnerable people, oftentimes promising a career or money.
Nationally, it says a child is trafficked every 2 minutes.
Why is the DC area such a hot spot? Well, we're told it's because it is a high-density transportation hub. The I-95 corridor is one of the areas where people are trafficked most frequently. We don't think of it as being in our own backyard, but trafficking is very much a local issue. In 2022, there were nearly 150,000 cases of ads being posted online.
It's somebody, it's a neighbor, it's a friend, it's so prevalent that I can almost bet we all know a victim and or an offender.
See something, say something, like that is the biggest thing.
We didn't want to do this. To be honest, we still don't want to do this. But if we don't stand for something, the truth, we'll fall for anything. Lost in all of this is the survivors and the victims. That's what's been lost in all of this. And that's where, you know, last night we had a Twitter space where we had what? How many, Manuel? Like I think it's 700 people.
Yeah, probably got up to being a lot, especially when that Viva Frey guy came in.
Yeah. Where there were, you know, survivors that wanted to talk, and there was a woman that just broke down, and she's like, I'm cooking. She's like, this has just ruined everything. And she's like, you know, thank you guys for doing this, because, you know, this brings back all my trauma. And for somebody to do this, you know, if she's really doing this, this is awful. And so part one, I know that some people are going to want like all like the dirt and all that other crazy stuff first, that you're not going to see that on Friday. You're going to see what really is the face of human trafficking, what it's like to work with victims, what these victims are going through. And I do that to contrast what then you would see after with Eliza, because what I have a number of different interviews about her, and there are, how do I say it? Part two mainly goes through the timeline, but then part three is going to go through everything that's happening with Twitter and possibly now Ella Irwin and some of the other people that are surrounding her and how she gets all this protection. Because at the end of the day, here's my biggest issue besides censorship, okay? There are a number of hashtags. Like Eliza likes to brag that she like got rid of all these hashtags on Twitter and stuff. Even Lynn from Lynn's Warriors was like, Twitter does not have the manpower nor the operational, like any wherewithal to get rid of all these hashtags to save these kids, to save these trafficked people, what have you. She's like, there's just so much. And the predators are always one step ahead of everybody else. But for this woman to get a rap music video censored this quickly, when you have hundreds of thousands of tweets still out there with images, with real images, with, you know, girls getting trafficked, young boys, what have you, and for her to abuse the system to get her stuff taken down, but not the survivors that she's advocating for, what does that tell you? And that to me is what makes me the most mad, is that, you know, here just because she has an in can get all this stuff taken down about her. Again, what about the victims that you advocate for? You know,
Yeah, it's really interesting how fast she's able to scrub her history. You know, if she put even a fraction of effort into for victims of abuse and trafficking, I mean, boy, oh boy, the amount of work that she can get done. I mean, probably Eliza has all her assistants looking at Twitter saying, who's sharing this image, who's sharing that, ban them, suspend them, lock them out, kick them out, censor them, quiet them this down, call up YouTube. I want this video removed. I mean, if she were able to have her assistants, you know, scour through social media and find all these scumbags that are abusing, you know, women and children and so many others, I mean, she could do some good, but she's using it for herself. So she doesn't, again, I have to wonder, does she even believe in the words that she's saying? I mean, she's managed to build this persona of someone who's invincible, someone who is all high and mighty, but she's not. She doesn't even fit that persona. She is someone who is, I think, from my perspective, who built an image up of trying to make money and gain celebrity status of being a fake activist. When the cameras are on, she does the sob story. When the cameras are on, she puts on this mask. When the cameras are off, she probably goes back to being the same scumbag person she's always been. I mean, unless there's got to be something more to this, because we all have to wonder, what is Eliza's, what is her end goal game? Because if she's able to command this much power, I'm concerned about, okay, well, who else is really close to the Twitter support team, and who else can they censor? What other stories do they want to keep suppressed? Meet the new boss, same as the old boss, but maybe slightly worse.
Yeah, it's the same as it ever was, man. Same, different faces, same censorship, except for maybe a little bit more on the nose now.
Yeah,
it's very sad. I mean, it's just not the way that I wanted to see it going.
No, and again, I want to pull this tweet up again here too for everyone that is watching this, and that is, again, she's saying, I have been sexually exploited in many multiple ways. I'd like to thank World Star for removing a video that they paid her for, by the way, depicting me on Wednesday of this week. I'd like to thank Google and YouTube for removing the video on Wednesday. I'd like to thank Twitter and Twitter safety.
Yeah, you're welcome. Looks like they're just doing her dirty work now. And I'm a victim. I've been trafficked.
We all have.
And silenced.
Well, and here's the other thing. If you look at that link and that I just put in the private chat, kid, she is losing followers by hundreds.
My God. Hold on.
She's already down. She's down, I think, today 1,600.
Get out. Hold on. This is pretty crazy. Hold on.
That's a big chunk.
All right.
So keep going down. Yeah, this is what you want to look at. So there's 130, see 1,695.
Jesus.
That's live.
Oh man, that's hemorrhaging. That is bad.
She's already lost in the last week and a half 10,000 followers.
It's like there's an inverse ratio to the number of posts she makes and the number of unfollowers she gets. Honestly, it's almost like she'd do better not saying anything. She'd stop probably losing people.
Well, I mean,
but is there any correlation to me getting banned on that one? The world may never know.
Okay, hold on. Future projections. Let's check this out. Well, at least supposedly she should be in the higher numbers, right? Detailed statistics. Let's check this out. Hold on. Wow. Oh, God. Oh, she's done. Followers gained by Eliza as it stands right now. So, again, by December, if people are watching this, it reached peak height between December 5th and December 12th. And look at that nosedive.
And that's when the Twitter files started coming out.
Exactly.
And that's when she got big.
Okay, and then wow, weekly tweets uploaded for Eliza. Again, highest between December 26th and it's going down drastically. That is just absolutely shocking.
And I saw in the chat 75th birthday. Oh, okay. I think you retracted the message because I was going to say I think you're confusing sex work with trafficking, and it's no, I'm not the one confusing that.
Whoa.
She's the one confusing that.
Hey, audience. I mean, okay, I know we got 150 people maybe watching us live right now, but let's see if we could try and get it down to let's make a goal by the end of this week. Let's get it down to 100K. That's
a lot, dude.
That's a steep goal.
Hey, you know what? Go big or go home. Why not? She lost somebody right there. 21,000, 270. Is she up?
Oh, they got somebody back.
They got somebody back.
And it went down.
And it's down again.
How much you want to bet to, like, if she starts really hemorrhaging, that like Elon gets a bunch of bots in there to go and follow her?
All right. I want
could be done.
Spread the word. Spread the word. Let's try and get this video or get this account down. Okay,
but
maybe
the thing is that World Star, if they wanted to, they haven't come out yet, but the fact that they released a statement saying that she was paid, after she insinuated that, you know, she was illicitly, you know, used, they could potentially, like, she's talking about how she's going to sue all these other people.
What was that?
Yeah. Holy cow! I need continue on. Sorry.
No, we all stopped. No, but you know, if they wanted to, if this hurts their business or whatever, they can sue her for libel, because saying that she was, you know, acting like she was held against her will by World Star. I mean, yeah. I mean,
it went up again.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw the numbers change drastically, and then they got boosted
go right back up.
Yeah, can't get below 271,000, can we? Huh, Eliza? You didn't think we caught that? We caught that in 4K right there. Okay, there is so much to really take with this story. Overall, I think we talked about how the Daily Beast was even covering this story. Farron, what was the situation with them, or what is going to be happening with that? Is mainstream media going to start picking up on the story soon?
Let me find you the tweet, because where was it? The Daily Beast reporter reached out to her, and she hasn't replied back. And that's the thing, is like, you know, by her still like pretending like this is not here and this is not happening, and then
happen again. It happened again. Twice. Did you see that, guys?
Yeah, it went down to 270.
Okay, hold on. Wait. Miguel H., you're our moderator, so I trust you. Are we all going crazy? Did everyone see that? Audience? I need to know. It's sort of like that thing when you see like a UFO in the sky, you turn to your friend, hey, did you see that? Did you see that?
It's almost as if they're not allowing it to go below these numbers because she's already down. Wow.
Oh my God. All right. So continue on. I'm sorry to have cut you off.
I don't even know what I was saying.
You were gonna pull up the link to the tweet of the Daily Beast.
Oh yeah, I can't find it, but either way, I think my executive producer and I think that this is all gonna blow up by Thursday, like blow up to like mainstream media by Thursday.
Okay.
Here's the link.
Oh, you do?
Thank you,
Defango. Defango following through. All right. I am going to leave this, but I will keep that up there. I want to see how this plays out. So let's go and pull up this tweet here. So I guess mainstream media is starting to take interest in this story. Hi, Eliza. Oh, okay. Oh, she did not. I remember this tweet. God damn it. Eliza. I love Twitterlist so much. Cats love and positive people. Heart sign. Hi, Eliza. I'm a reporter at the Daily Beast and trying to reach you for a story we're working on. Could you please send me a DM or email? Again, thanks so much. Is this a sign or what? I mean, again, thoughts, folks.
Looks like a sign to me, but I mean, just coming from experience with her history and reporters doing exactly that, they've had pretty much a 0% rate unless they've gone through that Amanda chick first. even like talk to her.
So I guess it got to be screen. But is anyone else from like corporate media following through with the Eliza story? That is an interesting.
Not yet, but I think I think that when certain things start coming out more and more and more. I mean, here's the thing: is right now on YouTube, like you had Lotus, they covered it. You had Think Before You Sleep, that are massive podcasts. Like where was it? Lotus, he covered it all today. And the funniest part that I love when I because first of all, I came into this whole story not even knowing who she was, didn't even care. The minute that I heard censorship, I was like, okay, I need to see what's up with this chick, like what's going on. And then started learning more and more and more. And that's where like I really did come at an unbiased angle. It's always fun to watch people when they learn of the whole story and they hear all of the different facts that like don't line up and people are like, wait, what? I love how it's not going below this number at all.
And by the way, if people who are asking, this is Social Blade. This is how you could follow some of your favorite people on social media. And again, this is the live Twitter follower count. Again, folks, I would love to see if we even got rid of the 71,000. If we can get it to 200K by the end of this week, all of you are magnificent people. Because again, maybe then Eliza can start addressing some concerns that we're having, Miss Eliza. Something
the other thing is she has a manager, this Amanda. Like she doesn't know PR. Like, again, this all could have been over by now and everybody would have moved on. Like, while the internet is a tough place when you censor it, it's also like if you just come clean and admit, the internet is very forgiving.
Yes.
And if anything, people would have been like, you know what? Hey, like she came out and admitted it. Like now, like we're going to ban with her even more because, yeah. And it's just so dumb.
And by the way, just so all you could see it in real time, thank you, Miguel H, for posting a link there too. This is the where you can see the viewing count. Now, again, I'm pretty sure some of you might have maybe followed Eliza on social media. If not, all right, good for you. But if you don't anyone following her on Twitter, yeah, let's maybe if we get the number down lower, she could start addressing it. Because again, I want to pull up this video that we played earlier. It's your last trailer. I know both of you I know you guys got to be heading out. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know Brittany won't be able to join us yet. So the door, Brittany, and the off chance you do see this, the door is open. We'd be more than happy to have you on the show. But I want to pull up this trailer too that Farron is putting together. And it has to deal with who is Eliza Bleu and what she represents. So again, folks, we didn't want to do this, but the censorship is all too real.
And this is always fun to see the reaction too. Oh, excuse me.
Directly with survivors. Everybody give it up for Eliza Bleu.
It was exactly what you think it would be.
And what sort of organizations are available to help people?
I'm one of those survivors that prefers given the opportunity to be free.
I don't understand. So someone creates a fake profile of you.
And that's how they would traffic me, sell me without my full consent.
So this is a kind of identity theft kind of situation.
Too inconsistent and too all over the place.
It's around the same time she said she was being sex trafficked. Doesn't really look like sex trafficking to me. You're twerking, you're humping the floor, you're showing your tits. It looks like the internet is completely turning 100% against her.
What's been your strangest booking request so far?
$150,000 to have sex. $150,000, that's a lot of money.
She's never mentioned any of this. Therefore, she's either lying about the past or she's lying about now. Either way, one way or another, this is an expose.
An individual who has a large social media following, as well as the ear of Elon Musk. Elon Musk. Elon Musk. Elon Musk.
It's Brittany, bitch. Hello, everyone. I have been locked out of my account on Twitter.
Brittany Venti, who is also a human trafficking. Hey, Eliza Bleu. The sensitive topic. You don't have to go into detail about.
And this was the tweet in question that caused the massive suspension. Again, you could read it for yourself, folks. It is as kind-hearted and non-malicious as possible. I mean, it really must have triggered Eliza.
Oh, yeah. Traffic thought. I'm hoping you could clarify a thread.
This was the reasoning. Privately produced / distributed intimate media.
I don't like to go into too much detail.
You're seeing somebody supremely comfortable basically wearing a bustier, and then you got somebody that's like, I don't know what the heck what she was wearing. And it's like you're dealing with two different people.
More sinister details have come out around not only my current Twitter ban, as well as fellow content creator Brittany Venti, and who have posted a publicly available photo. This whole allowing the system to be gained for people close to him, it seems very suspicious.
Yeah, I'm really an open book.
50% of all super chats will go to Eliza Bleu tonight to help human trafficking victims and to raise awareness.
Trafficking victim, that's going to help is me. And I'm a human trafficking survivor. But let me tell you what it can help by. Number one, I don't have internet. Anybody that feels a need to contact me personally can text message me through a service called ChatStar.
Wait, ChatStar is a cam site? Hold up. Wait, what?
I won't ask those people to change their opinion for our sake. I would just ask them to consider one thing. What if you're wrong? Is it possible?
But what if I'm right, though?
When it comes to me, when I'm done, I'm done. And when I want to keep going, I'll keep going.
So, okay. So obviously, again, two-part question. Number one for DeFango, so we can follow you and support you. Where can people go online and social media to support you and help you out with your work? And then two, to Farron, you have been working all the way up to midnight, even past midnight, to put together this documentary series. It's going to be coming out Friday. If people want to help you, Farron, where can they go? How can they give you an extra boost in order to see this thing through? So DeFango, we'll start with you, man.
You can follow me on YouTube at Manuel DeFango. Same thing with Instagram and pretty much all the other websites. And I just, I make daily content. So, you can always check up on me into those places and see what's going on. Usually always live too. So, check me out. Thank you very much.
All right. And then Farron, where can people go to help you out with this finishing of this documentary series? Where can they go?
So it's going to premiere Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And you can just email me, farronbalance@gmail.com, or you can follow me on Twitter at farronbalance. My DMs are open if you have any information, but we've got a lot of stuff. We got pretty much almost, a lot of what we need, but if there's anything you see or whatever, feel free to help because, yeah, we're doing this, so.
And the number is going down. So that is something that's interesting. So Social Blade is such a wonderful, wonderful tool. We'll see how this all plays out, especially for everyone that's watching this live. If you're not following Fair and Balance, if you're not following Manuel DeFango, please do so. They both have been putting together a lot of great work, and Hardlands Media is more than happy to help collaborate with this and so much more. And Farron, if you do have a few minutes after the show, I would like to run something by you and get your thoughts on it too, as we end the show. So again, DeFango, look, I'm sorry what happened to your Twitter account, but if anything, you were correct in putting together that timeline. And it helped set in motion for not only us to call out the hypocrite who Eliza is, but the bigger issue of the fact that censorship is alive and well on Twitter, and Google and YouTube are more than happy to follow along with that too. And again, I'm very sorry what happened to your Twitter account. Again, Brittany Venti, sorry that happened to her too. We hope that she is safe driving home, but the door is open for her to be a guest on our show too, because again, I think we all assume that they were friends. No friend does that to a friend. I don't know. Definitely. Madness and stupidity all around. Shout out to everyone watching us live, and shout out to all of our viewers and supporters. My name is Kit. Peace to you guys, and let us all do what we can to build a better future. Peace to you guys, and take care.
Peace.